Hi everyone, I'm Shelby. I'm just going to talk to you about vaccines and the importance. So, since the 20th century, we have eradicated several diseases and decreased cases of many, many others. One of the main ones is measles, which we've heard a lot about on the news lately because of the outbreak, which is mainly caused by people from overseas coming to the US. They're not as fortunate as us and they can't receive all those childhood vaccines. So when they come over here, they bring those diseases that we vaccinate for. And if we don't all get vaccinated, we decrease the effectiveness of what's called herd immunity. In order for herd immunity to work, between 90 and 95% of the population needs to be vaccinated. And that's just not the case right now. A lot of people are choosing to either not vaccinate or do a different schedule than the CDC recommends. When you don't vaccinate according to the schedule that has been created, you create a lot more time for your children to be exposed to certain diseases. The reason the schedule is so aggressive, which some people don't agree with, is because they want your child to be protected before they start school, which is typically around the age of 5. I know some kids go to preschool earlier, and that's totally fine. They still receive most of the important vaccines before that point. So that's a huge help. When you change schedules, even your preschooler is going to be at more risk for all of those diseases because they aren't even receiving the first of their series. So that's a huge thing. The measles vaccine decreased in the 20th century, decreased our cases of measles by 99.9%. So we almost wiped it out completely just by vaccines. Now, with people not vaccinating quite as often and spreading that schedule out, that percentage will start to go down and herd immunity will become less effective. Herd immunity only maintained, like I said, if between 90 and 95% of the population is vaccinated. So keep that in mind. When we think about vaccines, like I said, a lot of people find the schedule too aggressive. It is that way for a reason. A vaccine typically takes between 10 and 15 years to even be put out there for people to use. So it's not that scientists are just throwing them out there and coming up with them. It's definitely a lengthy process, and sometimes it's even longer than that. So that's definitely important. Vaccines save roughly 6.4 million lives in a 10-year span. That is a lot of people. As far as dollars go, they can save in a 10-year span, they can save people an average of $6.4 billion in treatment costs. That's a lot of money, and I know people think that doctors are just out for money, so that's a good thing to know. Science shows that by vaccinating our children, we can reduce their risk of being hospitalized by 23%. That's a pretty large percent considering how traumatizing hospitals are for kids. Definitely not something you ever want your child to go through. So 23% is huge. On average, a person with just measles, I'm using measles because it's something we've all been hearing about. On average, a person who has measles can infect between 10 and 15 people before they're even showing symptoms. And that's if they're not all over town or in an airport or on an airplane. Measles can kill you, and it can especially kill people who aren't able to get their vaccines because of an immunosuppression disease, like cancer, or if they're receiving chemotherapy. So basically, you not vaccinating and contracting measles can cause somebody to lose their life or lose their child. So, not something I don't think anybody wants to deal with. If you are considering an alternate schedule for your child, science definitely does not think that's a good idea. They've spent years developing these schedules to decrease our chances of developing these diseases. So delaying the series will only put you at a greater chance of contracting these diseases. So not great. Just in conclusion here, I hope everyone is seeing where I'm coming from and why I feel so strongly about that. Doctors are here to help us. Vaccines will save you. They will save many lives. It's important to keep our country safe, and by giving vaccines, we can create a better future and a healthier future for our families. So nobody wants sick kiddos, and vaccines can really help with that. I know we were supposed to do a visual, so this is my visual. This just shows how herd immunity works. So here it talks about, if there's a group of people and all of them are not immunized but still healthy, and 2 people become sick, 99% of that population becomes sick. That's huge. And same, so if there's a smaller population, same thing. Herd immunity is really important, and the more we vaccinate, the stronger that herd immunity becomes. Yes, it's like a herd of cattle. My sources that I used were the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, the Brown University of Child and Adolescent Behavior Letter, the PBS.org, and economic evaluation of the 7 vaccine routine childhood immunization schedule in the U.S. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.